Hello students and welcome to online lectures on economic analysis for business students. This is Dr. Madhura Gupta and today we're going to conduct a video lecture on consumer equilibrium. Yesterday we have conducted a lecture on Unit 2 Part 1 wherein we have studied a concept of indifference curve analysis. Now this concept will be helpful in today's video as well, and that's why I keep on saying you that you should go through the last video so that your concepts are clear, because the concepts cleared in the last videos are somewhere helpful in future videos for you to understand the concepts more thoroughly. Because when I'll be using few words, it should not be alien to you that what is this word ma'am is using. So you should know these meanings, you should know these concepts. So I'm again saying you this that please go through old videos of mine so that you can understand future videos more efficiently and effectively, right? So let's begin with today's video. I'll share my screen with you now. Yes. So the topic we're going to cover today is consumer equilibrium. Now, what is consumer equilibrium? A consumer is in equilibrium when he maximizes his utility given his income and the market price. Now, let's assume consumers are you and me as a normal human being and then understand this concept. So, every consumer, like you and me, aims at getting maximum satisfaction out of his given expenditure. So a consumer is said to have attained equilibrium when he spends given income on budget in such a way as to yield optimum satisfaction, right? So given the prices of two goods and the consumer's preference, of course. So in simple words, a consumer is said to be in equilibrium when he is getting maximum satisfaction out of his limited income, that is limited resources. So a consumer may find out his equilibrium condition with the help of indifference curve analysis, right? So there are a few assumptions of these particular analysis as well. Like when we study it through indifference curve, like it is based on assumption like a consumer is a rational person and seeks to maximize his satisfaction through purchase of goods. A consumer consumes only two goods, X and Y, because into example X and Y. These goods X and Y are homogeneous, same and divisible, effectively divisible. Prices of goods and of course income of the consumer remains constant throughout the analysis. The indifference map for goods X and Y are given to us, and the indifference map is based on the consumer's preference for the goods. So the preference or habit of the consumer also doesn't change throughout the analysis. So followed all these assumptions, only then we can have a consumer satisfaction, consumer equilibrium. Now, what are the conditions of consumer equilibrium? The very first condition is the budget line should be tangent to indifference curve. Let's understand it slowly. Okay, just remember that budget line should be tangent to indifference curve means the indifference curve should touch the budget line. This point where indifference curve will touch the budget line will be point of consumer equilibrium. Now let's find out how. Now, consumer equilibrium is based on the assumptions that income of the consumer should be constant and that he spends his entire income on purchase of only two goods, and the prices are given, of course, of these goods. Okay, so a budget line is a graphical representation of various combinations of two goods that a consumer can afford at specified prices of the products at particular income level. So a budget line can be drawn on the basis of expenditure plan. Now the table, this table given below is an example of expenditure plan, and a graph that follows is its presentation on the graph. Let's see how it goes. Now, given to us is that budget of a consumer is 10 rupees and that price of goods X is 1 rupee and price of goods Y is 2 rupees. Now, these are various combinations of goods X and Y given, A, B, C, D, E. That 5 quantity of Y, 0 quantity of X. And that's and this is how it goes. So let's calculate for each of this and find out and draw a graph. And when you draw a graph for all these combinations, the interplay of budget line and indifference curve it's shown like this. Now, what you can see over here, you can see IC1, IC2, and IC3. There are three different indifference curves. AB is the budget line. Now, consumer can only consume such combination of goods which lie upon the budget line at given income level and constant price of goods X and Y. So now we'll come back to this graph again for better understanding. But now we have to understand this, that since we are given income level 10, price of goods X is 1, price of goods Y is 2. Now look at this. A consumer can purchase only a combination which satisfies this equation. I, that is 10, is equal to Px into Qx plus Py into Qy. Now Px is price of X, Qx is quantity of X, Py is price of Y, and Qy is quantity of Y. Now we are given 10. I is equal to 10. Px is 1. Py is 2. This is fixed. Now we'll be playing with different combinations of X and Y as the table given above. Right? See this table. Now we'll go on putting up these values in this equation and go on calculating. Right? Let's do it. So now you remember this formula. Okay. So now we'll keep on changing the quantities of X and Y and do a calculation. Let's go ahead. Now at point A, it is 0 quantity of X and 5 quantity of Y. That is first point. At point C, it is 4.5 quantity of X and 1 quantity of Y. At point E, it is 3 quantity of X and 4 quantity of Y. That is changing. At point D, it is this how it comes, and at point B, this is how it comes. So these are all the calculations we have done with the help of table. We have picked up these figures from table. So thus at all these points lie on the budget line AB. Okay, so by the property of indifference curve, we know that utility in IC3 will be greater than utility in IC2 and it will be greater than utility in IC1. So this is how it goes, what I just said. So let's see now how we can find out the point of equilibrium for us. Now, a consumer can, I'll just move back to the graph here. What I'm trying to say. Okay, now a consumer can have any combination of goods that lie on the budget line, except for the combination A and B. I'm saying except because here in A and B, he has sacrificed 1. In A combination, he's having 0 of X, and in B combination, he's having 0 of Y. So how will he go? Because he should consume something. That is our condition. Okay, so that is removed in this either case. Because in either case, he would have only X or Y. So that is this A and B option is removed. Now the consumer can purchase combination C or D, but these will not yield him max satisfaction as they lie on lower of indifference curve. They are not tended anywhere to the budget line. On the other hand, he cannot have any combination on IC3. See, IC3 is above as it is away from the budget line. So he can't have any combination on IC3. So now what is left? Thus, observe the table and listen to me what I'm trying to say. The consumer will be in equilibrium, that is achieve maximum satisfaction at any given income level where the budget line is tangent to the indifference curve. Can you see where? Yes, at point E, it is touching the AB budget line, the IC2, that point. Now this point E is the point of equilibrium, wherein consumer will have maximum satisfaction by spending his 10 rupees. So what is that? That is at point E, he will have 3 quantity of Y and 4 quantity of X. That this consumption will give him maximum satisfaction and consumer equilibrium. So let's find out what the key takeaways from this particular topic we have covered. Look, as an indifference curve shows a combination of 2 goods that give a consumer equal satisfaction and utility, thereby making consumers indifferent. Along the curve, like the consumer has no preference for either combinations of goods because both goods provide the same level of utility. So each indifference curve is convex to the origin and no two indifference curve ever intersects. Can you see? They are one above the other. They never intersect. Understood? So this concept. Okay. So now let's move on to the next concept, that is consumer surplus. Now what is that concept? What is consumer surplus? Surplus means extra, dictionary meaning. So when a consumer buys a goods from a producer, each one gains from the trade. right? We measure this gain with the help of consumer surplus and producer surplus. Understand? So everyone gains. So consumer surplus is a difference between what you paid and what you were willing and able to pay. आपने कितना दिया और आपका कितना मन था पे करने का. आप मार्केट में गए टू बाय समथिंग, आप शर्ट खरीदने के लिए गए, आपको आपको 150 रुपए ही पे करना था उस शर्ट के लिए. आपकी विलिंग टू बाय क्या 150 थी. आपने उसे बहुत बार्गेन किया और आपने उसको 145 में कन्विंस कर लिया. So it is a difference between what you paid and what you were willing and able to pay. That is consumer surplus. Let's understand this. Now, एक एग्जाम्पल है. सपोज फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट पेयर ऑफ शूज. अच्छा, इससे पहले एक चीज और समझ लेते हैं हम लोग. दैट मार्शल एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस कंज्यूमर सरप्लस इन सच अ वे दैट the price which a person pays for a thing can never exceed the seldom comes up to that which he would be willing to pay rather than to go without it. Understood? So that satisfaction which he gets from its purchase generally exceeds that which he gives up in paying away its price, and he thus derives from the purchase a surplus of satisfaction. So the excess of the price which he would be willing to pay rather than go without the thing over that which he actually does pay is the economic measure of his surplus satisfaction. In short, the benefit which a person derives from purchasing at a low price, a thing for which he would rather pay a high price than go without it, may be called as consumer surplus. So at times we find that consumers' willingness to pay for a commodity may be greater than the price he actually pays for it. So the price that he is ready to pay for a commodity is his individual demand price, right? And the price he actually pays for it is a market price, of course. So particularly the economist Paul Samuelson, Mr. Consumer's surplus is nothing but the excess of the individual's demand price over market price of a commodity. Right? Or in short, in other words, it's the positive difference between the potential price and the actual price of the commodity is the consumer surplus. So in order to get definiteness of our idea, let us take the example of shoes. Okay, now this example. Suppose from the first pair of shoes, a man expects to get satisfaction worth at least rupees 500. So from the second, he expects the additional satisfaction of rupees 400. And from the third, he expects 300. Suppose he is thus induced to buy 3 pairs and no more. Now, since in a market there cannot be more than one price, the price that he pays for each pair is measured. I think. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so now he will pay 300 into 3 pairs. That is 900 in all for the 3 pairs. But by hypothesis, he is enjoying from the 3 pairs an amount of satisfaction 500 plus 400 plus 300, it is 1200. Right? He's enjoying a satisfaction of 1200, but what is actually paying? Is actually paying rupees 900 only. That means what? That means he enjoys surplus of 1200 minus 900, that is 300. So consumer surplus is then measured by difference between the total utility and the total expenditure made by the consumer on the shoes. It's difference between individual demand and the market demand. So that is 1200 minus 900. So 300 becomes his consumer surplus. Understood? So hence consumer surplus may be shown in another way like this. Surplus is equal to total utility minus total units purchased into minus utility or price. In short, consumer surplus is the positive difference between the total utility from the commodity and total payments made for it. Understood? That is consumer surplus. Now it can also be illustrated in the form of a figure. this is a figure given to you. Let's understand this figure, what it says. So in figure, the quantity of a particular commodity is measured on the horizontal axis and its marginal utility or production on the vertical axis. DD is the demand price for it, right? So if a consumer buys all units OR at RS price per unit, you see OR, RS, okay. So he gets a total satisfaction equal to DORS. Can you see DORS? Okay. Now, but he spends only ORST. He's spending only ORST amount of money. So his surplus satisfaction is DTS, the difference, the DTS. That is the shaded area. Can you see the shaded area? If the price falls to R dash S dash, he would buy OR dash, and his surplus would increase to DTS. So whatever we have studied in the shoes example, that is shown in the graphical example and nothing else. Okay. So the consumer surplus is measured by the area under the demand curve, but above the market price. So a difficulty is that as the price falls, the demand where the real income of the consumer increases. So to get more accurate measure of the benefit of the surplus, therefore, an adjustment must be made to offset the effect of the difference in real income at a higher price RS and the lower income R dash S dash. Understood? So there are difficulties of measurement actually. Okay. Now, what are difficulties? Let's see. Now, consumer surplus is measured by the area under the individual demand curve between two prices. So it is a monetary measure, although originally represented in terms of surplus utility by Marshall. So it is a measure of the benefit to the consumer, net of the sacrifice he has to make from being able to buy a commodity at a particular price. So Marshall's doctrine of consumer surplus is subject to a number of criticisms, mainly due to various difficulties associated with its measurement, that how the measurement it is done, like the calculation it is done. So that is taken as a criticism to difficulty level in case of Marshall, right? So this ends our video and the concept of consumer surplus. Now in the next videos, we'll be studying about demand analysis and about elasticity of demand, the demand forecasting, and everything we'll study. So I hope you all are studying and keep on studying and keep watching videos. See you in the next video. Thank you.